might be another reason for the speech. I kind of just happened upon this thing that happened yesterday. So Vanity Fair, I guess, interviewed a lot of people. They interviewed Marco Rubio, J.D. Vance, Susie Wiles, who's the chief of staff, the most influential person in America, possibly. In addition to all these photos and sort of gotcha things, they do seem to have Susie Wiles just wilding out, talking to people about J.D. Vance being a conspiracy theorist, and she went off on like everybody, and then she goes, "Oh, I never said that." And then they played a recording of her because they were recording the interview. The day that starts to come out, Trump's like, "Let's have a speech." So it could be to try and take some heat off of the story, which everyone's like, "Oh, it's no big deal. You know, Susie's a great person. Like, she's very competent and all this stuff." Welcome to Loaded Talk. I am your congressman, the third most popular candidate to ever be. I am Frank, and along with me, as always.
What's up, planet Earth? I'm Bean.
He's the man with the plan and the can of the frijoles. That is the Bean Man with the bean plan. It's good to have a bean plan. Otherwise, you just have dried beans. You didn't soak them in water, and how are they going to cook? They're not going to be any good. Any good, Charlie. It's just garbage. Okay? It's just garbage. And I kind of resent you bringing it up this early. All right. Well, we're going to start with the Trump speech and that. And then we're going to get a little weird. It's Christmas time. This is probably the last episode of the year, just the way the holidays are shaking out and stuff. So let's get a little funky. All right. So the lead up to Trump announcing a speech was all Venezuela all the time. If you notice, we went from Venezuela has to be attacked for the drug boats because of the fentanyl. We talked about that's not really what Venezuela does. They do cocaine and maybe something else, but mainly cocaine. Most of the fentanyl in through Mexico, thanks to China. And we're not attacking Chinese boats or Mexican boats or Mexican trucks. It's all Venezuela. Then Trump starts talking about he's going to make fentanyl a weapon of mass destruction, which is a great label to use if you want legitimacy. Because nothing rings more true in U.S. history than the presence of weapons of mass destruction. Now, of course, I mentioned on my Twitter there on the X that you don't actually want fentanyl to be a weapon of mass destruction. Hold on, boomers, before you get mad and tell me I don't understand. That's not what's killing people. When you have surgery and you get the mask on and they put you to sleep with anesthesiologists, it is a controlled substance they use in surgery and in other medical applications, but primarily anesthesiology. If the anesthesiologist is operating weapons of mass destruction on the regular, they're called terrorists, and they're all going to Guantanamo. That's not what we want. Carfentanil, acetyl fentanyl, or whatever. There's 3 or 4 or 5. There's different variations. So hopefully when this executive order or whatever defines this weapon of mass destruction, I'm hoping it is specific to the illegal varieties that make it into the drugs. Though, regardless, it's stupid. But hopefully they pay attention to the actual name of real things and don't just say fentanyl, a long-used compound in medicine, is a weapon of mass destruction. Though we'll finally find some WMDs if we do that. Just go to every hospital. My wife operates around WMDs a couple times a week, it ends up.
My brother-in-law is able to administer it up to a certain point.
Yeah, nice, brother.
As a paramedic. So.
Okay.
So yeah, we definitely want them to still have it.
No, your brother-in-law's a terrorist. We're locking that boy up. He's the one that got you into the Mets, right?
Yes,
he is a terrorist. That's a terrorist. Yeah, he knows what he did.
Spend all your money, Mets.
They will. And the same thing will happen over and over. Welcome. What he did is the most evil thing I've ever heard. All right. So it was about the fentanyl. It's all about the fentanyl. And And we don't have to throw this around, but because people criticize for lack of knowledge, like we started learning about fentanyl way before it was cool because we had a friend who was getting into it from the dark web and getting it sent from China. Word on the street was there was an American working in a factory where they manufacture fentanyl, selling it out the back door on the dark web. He was trying to get into some street side pharmaceuticals, and so he was procuring it, and he died. He did not work out well for him. So, like, this is not something where it has not affected us, and it's not something that we're ignorant on. This is something that touches home. So we're not being cavalier on this matter when we point out the stupidity of making fentanyl or its derivatives a weapon of mass destruction. Just feel like putting that out there. Okay, so first, all the bombing, it's all about protecting the states from these WMDs coming in to kill everybody. And then Trump goes, we're going to do a blockade on Venezuela. No ships in or out for oil. Justification? They stole American oil. You go, in Venezuela. Ends up what he's talking about. There was Citgo. There was Exxon. They operated down in Venezuela. They're private companies, believe it or not. They're not owned by the American government. They are multinational corporations, if you really want to get specific. And yeah, Venezuela got dictatorial, and they said, hey, it's mine now. And Citgo and Exxon basically were like, okay. What are you going to say? Are you going to get executed, or are you just going to leave and write it off? That's what you're going to do. At the time, American government didn't do anything to back them up to undo it. The president after that didn't do anything to back them up, undo that kind of stuff. The president after that, named Trump, didn't do anything to undo that. Biden didn't do anything to do that. And so now we're back to Trump part 2. And now it's this thing that after all these, after decades have passed, now it is an aggression that is so bad that we need to lay siege upon the nation. Now, of course, we're only saying a naval blockade because that's how any substantial amounts of oil or gas or whatever, I imagine it's just oil heading out. It's all about stopping the oil, and I don't know what they're stopping coming in, but, it's all about the oil. So it's not a true siege in that we don't have them truly surrounded, but it's a partial siege. In what general term would you use a siege? What action would you be taking if you decide to use the tactic of siege?
Attacking?
Well, warfare. Yeah. Siege, warfare. So we have a partial siege. Now, that's about oil, we're told. So we bombed the one boats because of WMDs. And everyone says, the MAGA faithful say, well, it's the right thing to do. It's killing everybody. We should be doing it. Teach them to bring these drugs that our people want to purchase into this country. And they go, yeah, let's kill them before they can bring in the products that have a high demand in this country and our citizens would like to procure on a voluntary basis with nobody twisting their arm. They go, yep, okay, so we got to kill those people to protect them, to protect us. And then it goes, also, we need our oil back in Venezuela. We need the Venezuelan oil back to America. Y'all took it. We don't like you took it. It's Americans. It's America's oil in your soil. And we want it. And now we're going to lay siege upon you. So throughout this, it has been one of those interesting. So you go, what is this about? Stopping an attack on the country, or is this about procuring oil, or about getting back our oil? And of course, this is at a time when Venezuela is not very stable. They have become sort of a narco state. They're definitely a dictatorial, mobbish state. And they're weak. Someone else, won an election. He probably did. I don't know. But of course, he doesn't have the backing of people with guns to actually put him into the presidency. And the U.S. did not commit anything to help him solidify his place. So Maduro is just like, I'm still here. Not too long ago, Trump was bragging that he had a phone call with Maduro. And Maduro offered us everything. And I said, no. And you go, if he offered all of the things, what is the thing he didn't offer? Like, if I'm going to you, I go, Charlie, I am going to ransack your house and kill everybody inside and take all your things. And you go, why? I go, I don't like that you took my inflatable Christmas decoration last year. And you go, well, here, I'll give you the inflatable Christmas decoration. I'll give you a little cash as an apology. I got you this nice fruit basket. And, formal apology. And I go, well, that's all I really wanted. I'm going to break into your house and kill you. I mean, what else, if he offered everything, what is it that we need? The answer is probably him to step down. He offered everything but to yield power, because if he yields power, he's just an obese man with a huge appetite in a fallen country that no longer has access to his buffet. And he'll have to figure out how to eat like the rest of his people, and that ain't happening, He'll probably actually kind of be an adjunct sort of mob head over here. He'll probably still eat fine. Those donuts. Remember the news thing? That was great. When everyone's starving, he's about to do his presidential address. He pulls out that big powdered donut from under a. It's just like, I've gained 75 pounds since everyone started starving, and I'm a man of the people. Communists always are. It's always the people's party. All right. So all this has happened. This siege, this blockade has begun. All of these actions are unconstitutional, and I apologize to the America First crowd who's not a big fan of the Constitution. In reality, they love the Constitution when it's Obama or Biden. If it's Trump in there, they go, well, it's kind of a loose set of guidelines, and we can really rewrite it and interpret it however we see fit. If you're a supporter of Trump and you're a supporter of Obama, and you think that when your person's in charge, the Constitution is just kind of this wobbly thing that anybody can do anything with, you're on the same team. You're the exact same person. You are, if you got a MAGA hat on, no, you don't. You have an Obama sticker. What was it? Hope and change. Hope, change, make America great again. You're just all one entity if you can't see what you're doing. So anyway, all these things are illegal. We're taking illegal war actions by calling people terrorists, as we've done for a while. And we are doing a wartime action, a warfare action, without Congress signing off on it. Thomas Massey said, if it's a good idea, cool, make your case in Congress, we'll vote. That's literally all it takes. It's not like you have to, it's not a popular vote amongst the people. You got 535 people, and I think you need a simple majority. Maybe it's 60%. Either way, what is that, 300 and 480? 600, yeah, whatever it is. But, simple majority or 60%, whatever. Either way, not that many people. Fewer than 1,000 people, fewer than 500 people. There's not that many people. You have to talk into it, make a good case, have Colin Powell show up and be like, look at this map. Look at that map. Eh? Gotta bomb it.
Colin Powell.
Semicolon, am I right?
Yeah, emphasis on the colon.
Yeah, because he's a butthole. All right, highbrow stuff. So anyway, so Trump announces he's got a big speech to make, right? I'm going to address the nation. So when the president says, I'm going to address the nation, news networks have the option to pick it up or not. That's why maybe some of these times it'll be on MSNBC, but not on NBC. They go, well, we're going to run football on NBC, but on MSNBC, you can watch it. 24-hour news, yes. Local stations, no. Just it all depends. And obviously, outside of Fox News, the rest of the channels are, of course, members of the Democratic Party. CBS might be changing it with Barry Weiss. I mean, she was a part of the Democratic Party, but I don't know. She's a wild card. I mean, there's one thing we know she supports, but outside of that one specific place and that one specific set of leadership, kind of a wild card.
Huh.
Yeah, she loves it. She loves it. Did you see when she was like, Mossad? She's like, Mossad?
These people take themselves seriously.
I know, but she was sitting there going like, what a Mossad? Mossad feels familiar, It's like, yeah, the Israeli intelligence, you carry their water, you don't even know the name of their intelligence. Like, it's not a secret organization. It's not like they have a secret name or this is some sort of slang. Anyway, all the news is part of the Democratic Party. So, a lot of times they go, I'm not going to carry your stuff, Donald J. Trump. But it comes out, starts leaking out. Maybe we're declaring war on Venezuela or declaring an invasion of Venezuela. Of course, we need congressional approval to declare war. And so everyone goes, we're broadcasting this. And it ended up being 20 minutes of Donald Trump just saying, everything sucked under Biden and we did everything great. He did it bad, I did it good, now things are great. It's good. So that was, it was that for 20 minutes. I guess there was a little bit of news. He had his warrior dividend or something like that. He's going to give $1,776 to members of the military as a Christmas bonus. Now, I'm pretty sure you're allowed to give bonuses to your employees, military's employees, whatever. He says it comes out of tariff money. Okay. He's at some point he said we've made what did he say? We've brought in like 40 it was like $18 trillion in tariff revenue. And you go, how come our deficit hasn't gone down by 1 penny? It's gone up. If we brought in extra money by $18 trillion in the first year, we probably should have paid some of our debt with it. And he's just like, give it to these people, Trump accounts, maybe a tariff dividend to everybody. Who wants $2,000? Who wants no lessons learned from the COVID, when we had all the COVID cash and the budgets went out of control and
Bush did it too.
Did he? What did Bush do?
Bush did a $600 or $800 tax refund check to everybody, I think.
Huh, maybe. Could have happened. I don't know. Do you remember what the logic was?
No.
Yeah. Whatever. You don't need logic. Here's some money. Was it him or was it Obama?
Maybe it was Obama. I don't know.
Yeah, I kind of remember.
Well, Obama gave out cell phones.
Oh, yeah, Obama phone. Yeah. Anyway, so this speech occurs, and that's it. He talks about a check for the military. And other than that, he just says, we've done lots of good things, A, B, and C.
If it's coming from tariff revenue, hypothetically, the military people are paying themselves their own bonus.
Correct.
Good job, guys.
It's like, we're going to give you $2,000 back from this tariff revenue. It's your refund. So all the extra money I've paid, thanks to the tariffs, give me a slice of that back. Cool. And I think I've been minimally affected from it, from my purchases. A lot of American made, and I just don't buy too many things, to be honest. So whatever, give me two. I don't know. At some point we got to tick away this damn deficit. And so ultimately, I think the point of Trump's speech, perhaps the goal was aimed at everyday Americans who are not plugged in to the day-to-day, because all the stuff he has said before 1,000 times over the last year, it's just, if you don't keep up with politics, you might not know this has happened, that has happened, if you don't listen to our show, for example. Because if you've followed the news at all, nothing was new. Nothing new was said. So I think maybe the hope was that, Joe Everyman would see it and go, oh, I didn't know all that was happening. Like, well, I guess we're doing a good job. I just don't know. There's a couple of reasons I don't know if it'll work. And maybe that was also pushed, like, starting in January. It's like officially midterm election year. And so maybe it was that too, or it's like, all right, we're going to end the year. Everything's about to get quiet. I want to like, rah, this is what we did in 1 year type thing. And let's build on that for bragging and stuff, for winning. But as far as the American people go, there's a couple of problems I have with it. One being Donald Trump is not someone that has lots of undecideds. He's got the for and he's got the against. And there's very few undecideds, even during elections, So I think anybody that watched it, that liked him, that, is a member of the Trump no matter what, I think they probably went, yeah. I think anybody that is the blue no matter who, they're like, yes, liar, I hate him. Anybody, and to be honest, anybody that's not one of those camps, I doubt watched it at all. Which is my other point is no one watches television anymore. I had a hard time flipping around to find it, so I just went on YouTube and they have an AP feed, and that's great. No talking heads. It shows the White House in a nice shot, and then suddenly, bloop, it was actually startling how they cut into him. But it was there and he talked. You watch it, but I just don't know. I mean, I know people watched it. I'm sure it got a good number of views and all that. As a percentage of the population, especially the voting population, I have a hard time believing that it is going to affect anything one way or the other. I doubt polls are going to come out to show that people were moved by it. I don't know. I just don't think it's fine. Newt Gingrich says it might be the most important speech he ever gave. Yeah. I think the most important speech he ever gave might be the one where he got shot in the ear. I think that one was probably had the most effect.
Is Newt still relevant?
I forgot he existed. Yeah. So he was a talking head, probably on Fox, and he's probably trying to kiss ass into relevancy again. The last time he was kind of relevant, I think he was running against Trump. Or the time before that. Which election was that? Maybe it was the Mitt Romney one where he ran last. Who knows? It's hard to remember. I remember him running, and he was suddenly ahead, and everyone's like, oh, Newt Gingrich is suddenly pulling way ahead. And then everyone's like, hey, you remember how he cheated on his wives and stuff? And then he, apparently that was enough. Donald Trump, he was just like, what? Who doesn't? I like it. Hey, yeah, back when those sorts of things, back when having a binder full of women was a scandal. It was funny watching Mitt Romney, who the most buttoned up person on the planet. I'm like, oh, this guy says has a binder full of women. He's like, I want to encourage women executives. I don't know. Why is it bad? I don't know what to do about this. Why is it bad? And I go, what about the dog on the roof? And he's like, that's just how people did things. I'm old. Can't tell, but I'm old. People used to do it all the time. And anyway, it was funny to watch. Yeah, I think Romney could have won if he didn't, because that first debate, he smoked Obama. Obama was on his heels. He looked bad. And then the next one, he was like, well, I don't want to appear too aggressive and I'm picking on the guy, whoever's advice that was. And so he just leaned back, and then next thing you know, he's out of it. He could have just kept going, look how incompetent, look how bad everything is. I think if he would have done that, he would have ended up, it would have been President Romney. I don't know how that would have affected things, but probably no Obamacare, which is now so unaffordable. It can't remain, the Affordable Care Act. Yeah, I don't know. What do you want to say about the speech or all this Venezuela stuff?
What was I going to say about Venezuela? Yeah, they don't actually. I did a little bit of research. They haven't really exported any of their oil in years.
Even to China?
Maybe China, but I was reading an article that said it's not even a percentage of their.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Well, if they don't have the infrastructure, they might not have the ability to get it out of the ground. Well, and that might be too. That might be kind of the line with truth type thing in that is if they don't have the ability to get it out of the ground, but they let China or Iran or somebody who they're partnered with come, it's like, well, you can get it out of the ground and you can put it on your ships and you can pay a fee for whatever. They're not technically exporting it. They're, selling it in country or whatever. And also, I doubt their books are very well kept. So, whatever. But yeah, but if China is doing the pumping and taking it out, then it's not an export, I don't think.
So that's the play then.
Could be. I think that's true. There might be some economist who goes, no, that's still it. So maybe I'm wrong, but that I would imagine
and that's why we're blocking.
Yeah, I don't know. It just does. I don't even like. They're not a strong enough country to matter. There's some intel that says they're allowing like jihadists or like Iran to do training things down. So like jihadis are going to go down to Venezuela, train on being mercenaries or terrorists or whatever. And at that point, they're already on the continent. They can get up through Mexico and do that. I hear that is at least a claim, not that the Trump administration's using that to validate, to say, because that arguably, if you're doing training, I don't know, even then it's probably not, but there might be something more of that. It's like, well, we're trying to build an army to take out America. And you go, well, they're trying to build an army to take out America. People go, oh, yeah, we don't want that, But no, it's about the oil, they say. So, they're partnering with China and with like Iran and stuff. And Iran, I doubt, needs the oil, but China has a source that's not Russia, and they do like taking people's mineral rights. So maybe the idea is we got to get in there before China lays claim to it, because then they'll have this like huge chunk of oil that will be able to power whatever. I don't know. Sorry, itchy eyelid there. But no, I have no idea. It's all kind of loosey goosey.
Yeah, I mean, for a terrorist regime to travel through for a Muslim terrorist regime to travel through Mexico, who is presidented, yes, I verbed it, presidented by a Jewish Mexican president, is interesting.
Yeah, though I think at the end of the day, she's more cartel than she is like.
I agree.
Yeah, like, isn't she married into being? Or no, we looked it up. Maybe she was Jewish before marrying into the name too. I think we did look that up. But yeah, she's more cartel than she is Jewish, and they say jump, and she says oy vey. But yeah, they have talked about border encounters involving people on the terrorist watch list. People who are not of Western Hemisphere origins. So people have used the Mexican border to get in, because obviously it's a lot easier to get in to Central America and South America. And if you're not going to stay very long, you're just heading north, no one's going to really give you much grief. They go, hey, where are you from? They go, I'm getting out of here, going to America. They go, oh, okay. Hit the road, you crazy kid. So it happens, but it's not part of the justification of all this. So I don't know. And Trump could have talked about it. He didn't talk about it, so we just don't know, Charlie. Okay, we got anything else on any of this? Well, things are going well. It's so like. It's so crazy. Just, the things that he ran on, the things that like Tulsi ran on, and then the reasons that she said she was supporting Trump and RFK and all these people, like everything that so much of his base and his like upper tier support system said they believed in seems to not match reality. Oh, before we leave this might be another reason for the speech. I kind of just happened upon this thing that happened yesterday. So Vanity Fair, I guess, interviewed a lot of people. They interviewed Marco Rubio, J.D. Vance, Susie Wiles, who's the chief of staff, the most influential person in America, possibly. And some interesting things happened. One, they got a lot of weird photos and weird quotes. They're trying to make hay about with this one from J.D. Vance, where he goes, all right, I give you $1,000 for everybody that you make look worse than me, or whatever it was, and like $2 if it's Marco or something like that, you know. And I can, yeah, that's funny. Like, I don't know, I can see him like that's funny.
The Marco Rubio photo is hilarious.
The lamp one,
Yes,
I don't know.
ridiculous.
I don't know why. I guess it's him in solemn prayer, maybe.
Yeah, the internet went wild with it.
I've not seen them yet,
Oh
but it
my
will
God,
be
there's
good.
a wall in one of them. It's great.
Yeah, no, it'll be good. It's a photo. It's a photo, and I'm sure that's the point. Is solemn prayer, quiet moment, or something. But whatever. And of course, he'll soon to be deputy director of the FBI now that Dan Bongino is quitting. So anytime anybody leaves, give the job to Marco. But in addition to all these photos and sort of gotcha things, they do seem to have Susie Wiles just wiling out talking to people about J.D. Vance being a conspiracy theorist and I don't know, like there's J.D. Vance. I feel like she went off on like everybody, and then she goes, "Oh, I never said that," and then they played a recording of her because they were recording the interview. You're like, "Oh, well, no, well, you know," and so like there's a lot more on the whole Susie Wiles thing where you go like, man, you sure did run your mouth a whole lot to the press as if they were friendly to you. And you seem to insult a lot of the cabinet. And so this, I don't know, you know, the day that starts to come out, Trump's like, let's have a speech. So it could be one of these, you know, just wanting to not humble brag, just brag. You know, I don't know, but it could be to try and take some heat off of the story, which everyone's like, oh, it's no big deal. You know, Susie's a great person. Like, she's very competent and all this stuff. I guess, you know, word on the street is she got fired from the DeSantis campaign for leaking. She was a constant leaker to the press. And because she loves the press, obviously. She just... So I don't know. We'll see what happens there. But she's super powerful. She got super powerful friends. She does love two countries. And, but I don't know. We'll see.
Our country is one of them.
Yeah, I mean, I was putting it as one. I sure as hell hope so. But yeah, I was counting. I was counting America. Yeah,
Who would the other one be?
it's Israel. It's always Israel. But yeah, she's she's influential and powerful, and I don't know. She might be a giant problem, to be honest, because she has a presence here. She's very capable. And there's just so many neocon-y sort of things that Trump ran against, that he insulted Jeb Bush about, that he insulted this, you know, all these different people about. And it seems like everything that the never-Trumpers wanted to do, everything that the neocons want to do, the people he insulted, he's doing all of those things. And he's done some of the things that he said he'd do, of course, the tariffs, the border.
Ross.
Oh, Ross, yeah. Which now Gavin Newsom, that piece of garbage. We've talked about how Gavin Newsom is trying to imitate the Trump voice in tweets, and I get it. And you know, he very well could be the nominee for president. Maybe it'll work for him. I don't know. But over the last week, there's been two where you just go like, what? Like, where's your soul, man? Like, to Elon Musk, there was something about trans policy in California, and he goes, "Yep, sorry, your daughter hates you, Elon." And you know, Elon replies like, "I assume you're talking about my son Xavier, who trans and all that kind of stuff." But it's just like, so just out of the blue, without Elon having anything to do with anything, you're just going to be like, your daughter, like, your kid hates you, Elon. Signed, the governor of California. Like, it's rude. It'd be rude if I did it. Like, if I was just mouthing off on the internet. And I have been rude before. But it seems like extra level rude to like go, oh, there's a strain between you and your child. And I'm using that for political points. And then after that, he's starting to bring up Ross and saying he shouldn't have been freed. Ross Ulbricht shouldn't have been free. He was a felon and he blah, 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 blah. And so he's pooing all over that, you know, like, and he just, I don't know. He is just a vile human being. Like, that's always been clear, but this attempt to like peacock in a Trump sort of way is just really accentuating how gross he is as a human. And do you know who is one of the top opponents of Gavin Newsom and one of the most vocal proponents of, I guess, the Trump team and J.D. Vance for next president? The right-wing hero, Nicki Minaj.
The right-wing hero. Honestly, you said right-wing hero, and I was like, man, who could that be? Nicki Minaj was not in my thoughts at all.
Really?
Nope.
What about all of her books on economics and Reaganomics and all that kind of stuff? Now, she, ever since Trump brought her in to the UN to talk about the Christians getting killed in Africa, and like she did that speech and stuff, she has met J.D. Vance and these cats, and she's like, she's very complimentary of J.D. Vance, he likes the memes, and is not a fan of Gavin Newsom at all. And, frankly, I probably wouldn't mess with Nicki Minaj. But I guess some of my employees are saying that she's been taking out some of her various implants and feels that she was pressured into it by music industry and regrets it and, wishes she had more natural look and all that kind of stuff, which I think is growth,
Yeah. She's not wrong. I mean, she definitely was pressured.
Oh, yeah. And you pull up a picture of her, it's not like suddenly she ain't got no curves or anything, like she would have been fine, but I guess whatever. XXL, All right, well, I guess that's that. I wanted to get a little weird, right? At least for our show. So it's Christmas time. Yeah, it's Christmas time. The reason for the season, old Jesus being born. I don't know. I kind of wanted to talk about, I guess, about faith and all that kind of stuff a little bit. I don't know. Growing up, I know I tended to be a very atheistic-leaning agnostic. I was, baptized Episcopalian as a baby, and then went to that or Presbyterian church or whatever as a kid. We kind of Sunday, and then it was just holiday type thing, Easter and Christmas. But I was kind of a proud, good and godless type of fella for most of my life. I guess you always struck me as about the same. Would that be about the same?
Yeah, kind of went along with whatever was not really forced into, just kind of led into. But yeah, I kind of kept a open mind on the side because I wasn't quite understanding of it all.
Okay. And like you went through all the, I always forget. Is it bar mitzvah or bat mitzvah?
Bar mitzvah for men.
For the men. Okay. And you did the bar mitzvah and all that kind of stuff?
Sure did. Sunday school, Shabbat Fridays, all that.
Oh, okay. So
not every Friday, but yeah.
And like during that, you're just kind of doing the process because you're a kid and they say go to this class, you do the class and that kind of thing.
Yep. Trying to figure out what they were telling me and make it all make sense.
It's like, how could you not understand it when they're saying, you go, oh, of course, I'm 8. This makes perfect sense to me, this whole new language.
But yeah, they're like, you have to read the Torah. And I'm like, okay. But they're like, newsflash, you don't get vowels. I'm like, cool. Why don't you just make me do it upside down too while we're at it?
the lack of vowel thing is an interesting part. You know, like I don't get it. You just have to guess. I was like, yeah, cool, great. Might as well be New Zealand where they just make up different vowel sounds for letters that already have established vowel sounds. Yisty. Yeah. So I mean, that's how I was for a good portion of my life. Would you say that nowadays that you believe there's a God, or are you? Where do you stand on that these days?
I mean, I definitely believe there's a God. As far as what that is, changes like every day.
So the prophet Bibi Netanyahu. No.
Sorry, Bibi.
Yeah. Well, no, and so like, you know, as I was, not even as a kid, so like when I got further along in life, you know, not too many years ago, there's a chunk of time. So, I, you know, like I said, for the longest time, I was just agnostic, atheistic, really, but I was not bold enough to pretend that I actually know what happens when you die or what happens outside of my sphere. So, like, I didn't like to, even like Richard Dawkins, who's like the most famous atheist. If you ask him, he says, well, I'm an agnostic. But if you ask which way I'm leaning atheistic. For the similar thing where it's just like, well, I don't know. Like science, we don't have proof, you know? And so for a long time, that's where I was. But as someone who doesn't like to be closed-minded, you know? Because anybody can dig their heels in and go, you know, I believe that the earth is flat and you can't tell me otherwise, you know? And you don't want to be a flat earther. Unless you are a flat earther, then maybe you do. I don't know. They do use the scientific method. Sometimes they want to build spaceships and stuff to go up. I don't think they're going to like what they see when they get up there, but I'm sure they can explain it away. But anyway. And so I would often think, like, what would it take? Like, what would it take for me to believe, you know? Because I'd listen to these people, you know, like Christian type people, and, you know, what you hear they talk, and, you know, faith is not the same as facts, right? You know, you have faith in something because you can't prove it. Like, you have to have faith when you can't prove something, you know? If you can prove it's there, like, without getting into theoretical kind of stuff, it's like, this is here. It's like, I can prove it. Look, just did it, you know? Without getting into weird theoretical physics type stuff.
Just gonna go that route.
Yeah. Don't want to get into that. I can't even touch it. But technically, you never do come in contact. But without
your hand should pass through that.
It should. It doesn't. But it never comes in contact either. Anyway, so I was always sitting there thinking, like, okay, so it's never going to be proven scientifically to me unless something miraculous happens, you know? Like, okay, like what can I do, right? And so I hit this, like, we'll just say I hit a low point in my life, and where things weren't great. And but after that passed, it was bad in sort of a gun in the mouth sort of way. But after that passed, I'm good. You know, I did notice that, like, I'd have this time where I'd be running an errand, and then, like, you know, car would buzz by, and, you know, the brain would go, you know, if you just took a step out, you wouldn't have to deal with any of this stuff tomorrow. You know, like, it's like, let me get my bills organized. It's like, you wouldn't have to if you killed yourself. And so there'd be this thought, and, like, but at the same time, I wasn't feeling depressed, you know? And so it was just one of those things where it was like this constant. It was just always this option, like, you know, it's like, oh, you go here, or you kill yourself. And so you go, like, this is an odd feeling. And the only thing, and then at some point I heard Nikki Glaser actually on Joe Rogan say something about it, where she's like, I don't know, sometimes you just say, I kill myself. She's like, I'm not suicidal though. And I'll say, hey, there it is. Like, someone else says this thing. And so, but as time went on, like, it would become more of a frustrating thing. It felt more and more like the thought was not my own, you know, which is a crazy thing to say. I understand that sounds crazy, and you know, and so I was like, God, it's annoying. It's annoying. It's not in my world. Like, it's not an option. It's not an actual option. It's not something I'm exploring. and I'm actually very happy and settled and all that kind of stuff. So one time I'm just sitting there cooking. And I go, oh, and I think maybe it popped in my head, and I was like, maybe that's what it would be. I was like, I would believe in God if suddenly he could make my head stop telling me to kill myself. And immediately, I know, I'm a cynic too, I get it. But immediately after thinking this, like, there was they say the weight lifted from you. There was that sort of feeling. And literally, that stopped happening. It just stopped. And I know people, well, you told yourself to stop doing it. It's like, yeah, I've been telling myself for years, like, this is stupid. I hate, like, it was one of those things, like, for years, I've been, like, trying to figure it out and get it to go away and all this kind of stuff. And, but just like that, gone.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I don't know how crazy I want to get with this, but,
Let's get crazy.
I know. And so, but, after that, I did notice there was a couple times I've had like very vivid dreams, just a couple that were like, I don't know. It felt like there was something more behind it. All right. This one stuck with me for a while. Right. Okay. So I'm in the neighborhood I grew up in. Right. And so growing up, we used to wander the alleys and all that kind of stuff. So I'm in this alley, and I think maybe I'm delivering flowers or something. And I go,
weird.
Yeah, right. And so I go, like, oh, for whatever reason, on one side of the alley, there's like a hotel, where in the residential area, there's not, but whatever, it's a dream. So I go, oh, I'm going to cut through the hotel, I guess to get it back to my truck, or just to peek at the hotel that's in this neighborhood. I forget why. So you go in the door, and it's grand, like old school grand hotel, Peabody in Memphis, like, high ceilings, good, rugs, columns, the whatever you call the decorative sort of molding and all that kind of stuff. And I mean tall ceilings. And so I had to pee, right? Oh, that's why I went. I was like, I got to pee. It's like, oh, it's a hotel. I can use the bathroom, right? So I go, I'm looking. So I find a hostess stand. And I go up and I talk to the hostess. I'm like, someone goes, oh, the bathroom's down the stairs over there. I go, okay, cool. So I go down the stairs. There's a hostess stand at the bottom. I'm like, I'm just here to use the bathroom, And she's like, oh, well, you can do anything you want here. She's like, there's people here to urinate, to defecate. If you'd like fellatio, there's a row for that. And coitus, there's a row for that. And so I look forward, and there's like these elevated stands, like 4 rows of stuff, and people up there. And I was just like, I think I'm all right.
Like some Eyes Wide Shut type situation?
Yeah, except I assume somewhere, like I didn't like have up close view of everything, but I assume some people are getting it on, some people are pooping. I don't know. Maybe some people are doing both. I'm not entirely sure.
Wild.
Yeah, and it was like, but a giant room, tall ceilings, and like red carpet type, stuff. And so I'm like, this is crazy. I was like, I'm good. I'll just hold it, Because I was sitting there, I was like, I just like want me to go up in a stand and just like pee surrounded by people doing all like it's like I'm good. Like this is not the comfortable hotel bathroom I was looking to attend. So I go I go up the stairs. I go back up the stairs, and there's this business guy checking in. Right, he looks like he's like a suit and tie, And look, serious man, And he says something like, oh, well, your usual, sir, that kind of thing, He's like, yeah. And they bring out a chicken, and they shove it up his keister, or he shoves it up his keister, or whatever. And then all of a sudden, like he's like his form changes in a way, or like the face. Have you seen that, like the meme where there's the smiling face on top of the guy's face where he's like crying?
Yeah.
So it's like that kind of thing where it's like human face, but like the muscles in the back of the head were like way out, like just big neck, big muscles back here. And it's just like, I was just like, well, I've got to go, And so like I found my way to an elevator, right? So I'm like, let's get upstairs to where I need to be. And I guess another subtle thing upstairs. But upstairs the lobby door is open, and there's like a giraffe or something. There's just weird stuff walking by, and I go, like around the time I go, I don't know if I'm in the right floor. And then like in the dream, I lose total control over my perspective. So all of a sudden I leave, I go back to the stairs, I start going right back down the stairs to where I just came from. And in my head, in my dream, I'm like, no. Like, I don't want to go back. And like, it's just stuck, just going all the way back down. And then I wake up, And this thing, I mean, I can still remember it in this much detail. This was a couple of years ago or whatever. And, but it was one of these things that like haunted me, where it's like, there's a couple of different dreams where it just felt like there's more going on. Maybe some little hooks trying to get me back type of thing.
Interesting.
And there was like, and I had one other, I don't really want to get into it because it's weird, but like I had one other time where like, there's something that was kind of bothering me about the way I was viewing, I guess the way I was viewing things. And it felt outside of the way I prefer to view things. And then like I kind of had another, I don't know. I had a moment, I guess. A moment where it seemed to reveal to me that perhaps this was a similar thoughts not my own type matter. And so for the second time, I attempted this same thing where basically, I guess we call it prayer, where I basically like, hey, I think that this is something that is not under my control, and I need help to get it under control. And once again, like immediate, and without getting in, it's hard to get into it without, some things are more personal. But like, I don't know, it's one of these interesting things where like, tested a second time, and the degree to which it was effective was surprising. I am a willful person, I would say, but not really. Like day to day, I'm pretty much just doing the same stuff. We just, you do what you do day to day. Like if I had the strongest willpower in the world, I don't know, I probably wouldn't be drinking beer during a podcast. But I like it. So I don't know. So from that point on, and then reinforced later, like I do believe in God.
Okay.
Yeah. And so now
you heard it here, folks.
I know. And the funny, most of the listeners don't know me from anybody else, but like, I used to proudly exclaim atheistic type things, or no fear of the afterlife. When you die, it's all darkness, it's all black. It's just like before you were born. There's nothing waiting for you, so there's no consequence to saying crazy things or attempting to pick a fight with a deity or something like that. But it is outside of the way most people would, if people had known me for 35 years or something, it'd be outside of what they would expect to hear out of my mouth.
Correct.
Hey, you've only known me 32 years. You can't say anything. But I don't know. So with you, had you always kind of like just believe in God, but you weren't really sure what all this stuff was about, or did that kind of come later, like after becoming a dad or otherwise?
Well, I mean, growing up, I just had a hard time, I guess, formulating the idea of God.
Sure.
So it was just like, okay, this is what this group of people is telling me that this group of people has endured, and that were some chosen ones, which I still didn't understand and still don't understand. I mean, I do understand based on the story behind it.
Sure.
But so I didn't really like fall into that where I think I'm above anybody and that some deity being whatever it is has chosen me or selected me, because I would look in the mirror and be like, why are you selecting me? You know, I'm nobody. Or what reason would you have to? So that was pretty much most of my childhood. And then it like, you know, honestly, it's been more recent that my mindset about God has shifted considerably. And it was basically, you know, after my mom passed, both myself and my wife and my daughter experienced a very weird thing that we have on record. And actually, your younger sister introduced me to a podcast. Well, yeah, it was a podcast that expanded my mind about it even more. So, yeah, I'm in a very interesting spot right now when it comes to
Do you want to talk about it or no?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. We have a camera still in my daughter's room.
Oh, yeah.
And the night my mother passed, and I'll have to show you this still. My daughter is interacting with nothing. There's a beanbag in her chair or in her room, and she's literally interacting with what it looks like she's talking or being summoned by somebody. And this is right. I checked the time and all that based on my mother's passing, and it all lines up. And the way, and she ends up calling for me. Like my wife and I are asleep, and Emma's calling for me. And when you hear the way she's calling for me, it's not normal.
Like
it's just
panicked or
no, sort of, but more of. Yeah, there's slight panic in
like
it.
some urgency in there or something.
Yeah, but the pitch is different. And you see me on camera coming in there and just laying next to Emma and basically waiting for her to fall back asleep for a while. And yeah.
Okay. Did she?
She doesn't remember it, but
Did she say? I mean, did she like mention her name for your mom or anything like that?
the weeks afterwards, I mean, it was probably 1 week. This very specific thing happened 1 week after. We're driving. No, I'm sorry. We're sitting at the breakfast table, eating breakfast, and she goes out of the blue. We're not even talking. This is not even a subject matter. She goes, Grandma's happy again. And I'm like, I'm sorry, what? And she goes, Grandma says she's happy again. And I had to leave the room because I just about lost it.
Yeah.
But just definitely, I don't know if it's putting me in my place about God, but that was very significant. I mean, I still have tons of questions, but I'm just like, okay, you know, maybe there is something to this. I don't know.
Did I ever tell you about the dream I had right after Tara died?
No.
So after all that happened, like I had this dream where it was, you know, like I don't remember what the zoo's like here, but in Memphis, the zoo, when you go into like the polar bears or something like that, there's like you kind of go underground and there's the big windows, and so like lights coming in from like the water or whatever, but it's like, you know, fake cave with like holes, like little cubbies, and you're underground, but not really. So it was like something like that, like a hall of like being a cave with windows. And so, you know, we were walking, and so she kind of was just holding my arm like, you know, like she would sometime back in the day. And so we're talking about whatever. And so we're looking at different stuff. And so I was like, I just hate, like we're looking through one of the windows, and there's, I don't know, like I can't remember now, but there's like a tricycle and there's just some stuff there. And so I was like, I really hate that one of these is yours now. And she kind of gave this little like, oh, I know, like with the sing-song voice we'd heard before. And she kind of would like apologize in her way. And but the thing was, as we're doing this, her grandmother Marty was up. She was staying, you know, about 20 feet up the way, looking at other exhibits. But she was there, like they were there together. And so we're walking, but she was just, no, sorry, and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, it was like this weird closure, but also she was with her grandmother, and it was, it was nice. Yeah. But yeah, as far as what it all means, like, I don't know. And like, you know, I do plan on reading some holy text. Well, listening, because I don't sit and read. I can't. But like I listen to the Gospels, so you hear the Jesus story when he's an adult, and I guess the other stuff I don't know what it is, but I'm gonna listen to it. But on the surface, like if you think about it's this probably technically blasphemy to do, but like when I went to my buddy Brian's funeral, it was a Hindu funeral. It's the only Hindu funeral I've ever been to. And you think of Hindu, you think of lots of gods and all that kind of stuff. I guess a huge chunk of Hinduism is actually monotheistic. And the clergy was explaining that although there are the different forms, the Vishnu, all this stuff, these are all different forms that God... It took forms that the people could accept in the moment for the situation. So if there's a war, you might need... And I don't know what the gods are, so I don't know. But, like this might need this type of thing to talk to you. This situation might need something more peaceful, And so much like burning bush type of deal. Also going to be a hallucinogen type thing. Because there is a bush in that area that if it burns, it releases DMT and doesn't make you see God.
Nice.
But, yeah, so there's that. But the acacia tree. But anyway, but the same logic, like same thing as the burning bush and all this kind of stuff. But without having any knowledge, so with talking out of my ass, right? So say you're playing Sim Earth, okay? You're building this Earth, right? And so you're just letting it go for a while, and you go, all right, like let's see how this goes, and it goes and goes. You go, well, they'll settle down, like they're gonna learn to read and stuff, and it'll become less savage. And so you look and you go, this is not going well. They're becoming different savages, not savages, So you go down and you go, I don't know what to do. It's like, I'm going to just start with one guy. And you go, hey, it was Abraham, right? Abraham's the first. He's like, hey man, like, you're going to have some babies, and you're going to have a lot of them, and we're going to start a thing, And it's like, okay. And so then that happens, generations, like, also, a lot of babies. We need lots of babies. And so then it's just like, we need to build the Jewish faithful. They're literally the chosen ones because we need some foothold to bring this thing in order to stop all the fuck piles, because there's too many of them. They're just going cities, they get in piles. It's too much. Not everyone is trying to stop the future South Park. Sorry. All right. So that goes. So fast forward. The Jewish people have been established. Now they are in they're in leadership in cities. They are not a wilting rose. King David, well respected amongst both the Jewish and the Muslim alike. So there's power, there's kingdoms, there's all this stuff. But politics and time corrupts everything. And so now it's time for phase 2, where you go, okay, like we've grown this to a degree. And there was a lot of smiting along the way where it was just like, stop it, hit you with a hose or fire or flood or whatever. And so then you go, all right. Switch it up. Instead of just being for these people, we're opening up membership to all the people. And so then you get the Jesus chapter, comes in and goes, all right, we're done with Levitical law and all that kind of stuff. We're here to like everyone, Jew and Gentile alike. You're all like, this is the way from here. And then on like Indian stuff, he's going as Vishnu, whatever. Whatever. Callously, I just forget the other names. Krishna. So anyway, so it's one of those things you go like, well, maybe I'd start like this, then it expands. And like at first, there's all these rules like, hey, no gay stuff. It's like, why? It's like, because we need children to be born. We need an army. We need more people. And if you two, no babies come out, I know I created you, So So I don't know. That's kind of a loosey-goosey sort of thought of like, trying to take the perspective of a master planner on Sim Earth or something like that. You go like, maybe that's why. You go, this is too broad to fix. I can't fix all this. Like I could kill them all and start over, which I still might. But before I do that, like I'm gonna holler at that dude. He seems all right. All right. Now to get super weird with it, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, let's just say that there are demons, whatever that means. You just, for lack of a better name, there's good entities and bad entities, angels and demons.
6, 7.
6, 7. Old people have ruined that. As soon as they learned about it, they drove that into the ground.
Surprise, surprise.
I mean, with such swiftness. And everyone talks about how the kids all say it. You know who I've never heard say it? Any child.
Right.
I've like never heard any child say it. And they all just roll their eyes. Anyway. But, all right. So there's a force for good, a force for bad, And you go, okay. And then there's a God, there's a devil, there's all the kinds of something created everything. Then you go, well, how do these things exist, right? And so getting into kind of theoretical physics, you go, there's 10, 11 dimensions, And you go, okay. What if, let's say there are 11. Or maybe there's a 12th we can't perceive. But let's just say there's only 11. And like, perhaps the creator, the God, is an 11th dimensional being, right? And then maybe angel demons 10. Whatever. I don't know exactly how it would work. But so in a 3-dimensional world, length times width times height. That's what we got. And then we can kind of perceive of time, a 4th dimension, but not really. In a 4-dimensional world, length times width times height times time. Gravity kind of trickles in from the 5th and all this kind of stuff. But we don't exist in 4 dimensions. We exist in 3. Theoretically, based on brain scans about how there's electrical activity in here, one would think that if you existed in enough dimensions, you would be able to influence electrical signals in a 3-dimensional creature's brain. It was here's my little sketch to kind of make it less weird, right?
I love this, by the way.
You're welcome. This is also could be what aliens are. All right, so 2 dimensions, right? Oh my gosh. So see this little fella and his little house. I gave him a chandelier because he's fancy.
Did Emma draw this?
Shut up. But he exists in length and width, no depth, right? So he can't see you right now. He can't see me right now because that is depth. He can see his house and he can get in through this little hole here. But he can't cross this, right? Now, at the same time, us being 3-dimensional objects, we can see inside of his house, inside of his roof. We can see inside of his head. We can see all the things about this whole world in this little snapshot, but it can't see us. The only way that we can really interact, because we do have depth no matter how much we try, is with, there we go, shadow. So in this moment, we interact with the 2nd dimension, and this fella would see darkness come on and darkness leave. And so that would be us breaking into the 2nd dimension. So to bring that beyond to the 4th dimension, if a 4-dimensional entity, just like it's not crazy that we exist in 3 dimensions, it's theoretical that something could exist in 4, we would not be able to perceive that person because we can't see out in time to see that entity, but they'd be able to see, our organs, our blood, the inside of the monitor, all this. They'd be able to see all of it splayed out in this open, weird diagram, and even be able to just pluck out your spleen or something, and you just go, "Gah, my spleen," or wherever the spleen is. So theoretically, you keep moving that out and out and out. At some point, you get to a level where you can probably see the electrical impulses in a brain. And I don't know if maybe you can generate them, maybe you can push them, maybe you can poke them. I don't know. But with aliens, you hear about the the things that go underwater as if there's no resistance, and they pop back out, and they go. Well, that's if it's a 4-dimensional craft or 5-dimensional craft, that is just appearing, just crossing into our dimensional plane during that moment. It really wouldn't have resistance within our plane, but we'd be able to notice it, and it could probably see us. I don't know if it would think anything about it. It'd be, I don't know. It'd be like us flying a plane, and suddenly out the window you see a painting on the ground. And you go, that's weird. Let's keep going. But I don't know if it would concern you. I mean, it would concern your mental well-being. But beyond that, you wouldn't be afraid that the drawing on the painting is going to pop up and snatch you out of the air or something. So yeah, like I don't know. There could be some like quantum realm stuff that actually does make supernatural things less, like more natural. What do you got to say, Charlie?
Love it. Love all of it. I'm addicted to all this. Like I save certain movies that are about this, like Tomorrowland and Interstellar, touch on all of these things.
I don't think I saw Interstellar.
Interstellar is fantastic.
Christopher Nolan, right?
Yes. It is a favorite. I've seen it, I don't even know how many times.
Nice.
I love it.
I don't know why I didn't. I just didn't.
It's phenomenal.
What was the other one you said?
Tomorrowland.
Which one is that?
That is about different planes of existence.
Nice. Who's in it?
Who was in that? I don't think it was.
Because is it a Disney movie?
It's a Disney movie, yeah.
Okay.
But I think it was awesome. The idea is awesome.
Sure. Yeah.
But Interstellar, the idea of Interstellar, even so, it further solidifies my thoughts. I mean, exactly what we're talking about right now. It's yeah.
Cool. The nice thing about this episode, Charlie, is it's totally ruined our show, and no one will want to watch it again. And I'm probably gonna get someone at the door with a straight jacket, and that's fun. But it's Christmas, and that's what Christmas is for.
Makes sense.
Man, what do you got for the people?
All right. Our loaded grok factoid of the day. Did you know that on December 18th, 1936, the first giant panda ever kept outside of China, named Su Lin, arrived in San Francisco, sparking widespread excitement known as pandemonium?
Holy moly. Did you see on some Chinese zoos, they've been painting dogs to look like pandas?
No.
Like big old fluffy like huskies or something. They've been like shaving them a little bit and painting them to look like pandas. And at some point people go, those are dogs, right? Yeah, they're dogs. You got us. All right, follow us on the YouTubes and the Spotifys and the Rumbles and do the alerts. We do some clips. You like them, share them. People might not want you to share an entire 1 hour whatever episode with them. Show them a clip. Give them 4 minutes, 2 minutes, 1 minute, 10 minutes. We got them all. We got whatever you're looking for. Low discount prices. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.